right, in the house with RC Fit. In my house, actually, for once, instead of the gym. And today I am here to talk to you a little bit about how to cleanse the body of toxins and fat after a huge, big, fat, gluttonous meal. Like the last holiday we just had, Easter, for example, or like any holiday, or basically after any huge, big, fat meal when you feel really guilty and you know you screwed up. I want to talk to you about how to eat to remove fat and to remove toxins, and also how to move to remove toxins and fat. So let's talk about some of the threats that are posed when you eat a huge gluttonous meal. Okay, there's the obvious. There's the high amounts of fat that you're consuming. Let's say like gravy or the fat on your meat. There's the high amounts of carbohydrates that you're eating, like in the mashed potatoes and in the bread. And carbohydrates are for energy, so nobody's gonna go run a marathon after they eat a huge meal, you know? Most of the time that doesn't happen, especially in the holidays. You're gonna go sit down and hang out with the family. So those carbohydrates, which are for energy, aren't gonna be used, and those are most likely gonna turn into fat as well. And also there's a high amount of sugar that's gonna turn into fat as well, and if not used as energy. So we have the threats of weight gain, which are the obvious threats, right? But we also have the toxic load that's coming from the steroids that are used in the animal. There's the toxins from the bacteria that are in all animal products. And those are going to make you sick if you don't have good immunity. So if your immune system isn't on point, then you're probably going to get sick soon, which does happen most of the time. In most countries, epidemics break out after a huge holiday. So when everybody's eating these huge meals. So it does happen, especially being a trainer. I see a lot of my clients are calling out sick after the holidays because that's when their immunity is low. And if you equate alcohol into the picture, you have the toxins from alcohol, and you have the lower immunity because you're drinking alcohol, and so getting sick is another issue. And last but not least, let's talk about the high levels of sodium that are in all these foods during the holidays, or usually in any snack attack type of a meal or any gluttonous meal. The levels of sodium go up, which makes you feel pudgy, which makes you retain water, which raises your blood pressure, and you're eating a ton of sodium when you're eating a huge meal as well. So that's something we got to clear up and learn how to take out of the body as well. Now, one other thing I wanted to touch base on with you before we talk about how to remove all of these things in the body is food combining and poor digestion. So there's a thing called food combining, and there's many charts on the internet that you can look up that describe how to properly food combine. But the basic rules of food combination are: you never combine your starches and your proteins at the same time. I know what you're thinking. Everybody does that in every meal, right? Well, your body can handle it for a little while, but when you have it in huge amounts, like huge amounts of starches with huge amounts of protein, which is a huge gluttonous meal or a holiday meal, that's a problem. That means that what food combining says is they break down at different times. So when you have a ton of starches and a ton of proteins, one's digesting slow and one's going to digest later. What's really happening is your body is waiting for a long time to receive all the nutrition from those two things. And what happens in the meantime? You get tired. For example, after you eat pasta with meatballs, or after you eat a burger, you got starch and you have protein at the same time. And those are big meals. So you get very tired before you actually wake up and receive the energy and feel the nutrition from the meal. So one of the other basic structures of food combining is to never eat your fruit within 30 minutes of a meal. You want to always eat your fruit separately, especially melons, honeydew, watermelon, cantaloupe. Those really need to be always separate from your meals within 30 minutes because those have their own whole way of breaking down. They can't be combined with pretty much anything. If you have poor digestion, you want to really follow these rules. If you can live this lifestyle as much as possible, I recommend following these rules in your day-to-day life. But it's most important for people with poor digestion or digestive issues. So now let's talk about the foods that you can put in your system. They're are gonna help aid in digestion and help cleanse your body and also help speed up fat burning, which is what you need because you've been a big fatty. Okay, so one of those foods is pineapple. I'm a huge pineapple freak. I love pineapple. I try to eat it as much as I can. Pineapple is full of enzymes. Enzymes are the thing that your body's creating when you're chewing. That's why they say chew your food a lot, because the more you chew, the more spit you create, and the spit helps to break down your food. Well, enzymes, if you eat your enzymes with your meal or before your meal, if you want to be perfect, or with your meal, or even after your meal, enzymes are going to help aid in the breakdown of food, especially when you have so much in your body that you just can't create enough on your own. You need a lot, especially because if you don't, you're going to get tired right after that big, huge meal and you're going to pass out. So enzymes, eating your enzymes is essential if you're going to be a big fatty often, or if you know you're going to be eating a huge meal, like if you're going to go to Vegas and you know you're going to go to the buffet, grab a slice of pineapple on that buffet and eat that first. And if you don't have pineapple on hand all the time, and you're not a freak of nature like me, you can buy your enzymes. These are chewable pineapple enzymes. These are from Trader Joe's, but you can get them anywhere. They're usually about $3. And the way you would eat these is like 2 or 3 of them with each meal, depending on how big your meal is. Like a regular average size meal, you would eat 2 with each meal. If you're gonna go crazy, you can have 4 before or with the meal. But the perfect way is to get a little bit of enzymes before the meal. If you do them with the meal or after the meal, it doesn't matter. But you want to try to get the enzymes down in the stomach before the food comes in so that they're ready to break the food down as soon as the food hits the stomach. So the perfect way to do it is before, but doing it with a meal, doing your chewables or your pineapple with a meal or after is fine. And last but not least, along the same lines, I want to talk about the other enzyme, which is parsley. Parsley and cilantro as well. They all have a ton of enzymes. They all do the same thing. You could do them before, with, or after a meal. So chew them up, get as many as you can. You can juice them, you can eat them, you can do whatever you want. Just get them in your system. I'll make eggs and I'll just like sprinkle parsley on top of my eggs all the time, or, I'll chop it up and I'll make tabbouleh. Tabbouleh is another really good way to make sure you always have enzymes with your meal. You can put a little tabbouleh on the side, a little Mediterranean style. So those are the 3 foods that I would recommend to get into your system. They will help to move the undigested food that's still in your system because that wasn't all able to break down from the big, huge meal that you previously ate. They will start getting it out of the system and cleaning out your organs, which will help flatten the tummy a little bit and cleanse the organs so that your stomach can be a little flatter and you can feel better. They'll help you boost the system so that you're able to break down your food more efficiently. So you'll feel more energetic in the future because you'll have a properly optimal functioning digestive system. So get them in your system now. It's not too late. It's never too late to start eating properly and start cleaning out your system. If you have problems with bowel movements and you don't go to the bathroom as often as you should, I recommend eating these things rather than juicing them because there's fiber in them. And when you juice, you lose the fiber. So it's up to you. There's nothing wrong with juicing. Juicing's amazing for you. You still get all the nutritional value, but you just don't get the fiber. That's the only thing that's missing. Okay, moving on. You obviously are feeling pudgy. You're swollen. You've eaten more than the recommended daily amount of sodium, which is 2,300 milligrams according to the FDA. But according to me, I think people start swelling up at about 1,500 milligrams. Between 1,000 and 1,500, depending on how big of a person you are, depending on your body mass. But I see it in my clients, and I count what they do. I count how many grams of sodium they take in, how many milligrams of sodium they take in. And they usually, after 1,500 milligrams, they're swollen. So dandelion, this is dandelion tea. Dandelion removes excess water weight and swelling from eating too much sodium. I like to put 2 tea bags in a cup, let it steep, and just down it. That will help to remove the sodium, shrink your skin, thin your skin out, and make you feel your face again and get your jawbones back and start feeling like, your clavicles are popping out and maybe your hip bones are popping out and you start seeing your shape again. Because sometimes you can be so full of sodium, you think you're fat because it looks just like fat. Swollen is swollen. So usually after a gluttonous meal, you got a little bit of fat and you got a little bit of sodium and you're just puffy from everything. So these foods are going to help remove waste, which is pushing your stomach out because you got undigested food. It's going to prevent you from having more undigested food in the future. It's also going to help you shed some pounds and make you feel more energetic. And the dandelion is going to remove the sodium from the body and make you feel nice and tight and camera ready. You can also purchase this dandelion in a tincture form. The tinctures are in little dropper bottles. You can definitely get them at Whole Foods. They're usually like 11 bucks. They come with alcohol and they come without alcohol. The ones with the alcohol, they're gonna burn a little bit when you put them under the tongue. What you wanna do with either one, with the alcohol one or the non-alcohol one, you wanna put about 5 or 6 drops under your tongue, hold it for 30 seconds, about 3 times a day. So around mealtime, 3 times a day. The difference between the two though, the one that has alcohol in it, the alcohol forces the dandelion to go directly to the liver and work as a treatment. It works immediately. Your body will start seeing results from the one that has alcohol in it immediately. So that's more of a treatment. That's for immediate results. The one that does not have alcohol is more of a suppressive therapy, something that builds up over time. And that is for somebody who's planning ahead and knows that they're going to have high amounts of sodium in their future, and they don't necessarily need to treat high sodium at the moment. And that's for somebody who is planning ahead and wants to slowly remove a little bit out of their system every day. But if you need immediate help, like right now, like all of us after a big fat meal, you want to get the one with alcohol in it, and you want to do 5 or 6 drops under the tongue 3 times a day. And you will feel results in about a day or 2, for sure. Okay, so we've talked about the things you can put in your system that are gonna help remove fat and remove sodium and make you look good. But now let's talk about your job as an individual to move and why movement is so important to finish this job of removing fat and removing swelling and sodium and making you look good. You have to sweat. You can put all the right things in your body. You can put everything that you need in your body, but if the bad stuff isn't being pushed out, then it's pointless. So of course we need fiber to create a perfect bowel movement to make sure that all these toxins are coming out in one nice mass. But we also need to sweat so that it's coming out of your pores as well. You need to get a core pump. You need to stimulate the core to have circulation so that your whole entire body is pulling fat and it's coming out of your sweat glands. How do you pump the core? Well, you can do sit-ups and follow that with some sweating. What that means is you're activating core circulation, which means all the blood throughout your whole system is working, and you'll be pulling fat from the whole body, from every single part of the body after you do some abs, and it's being activated. The fat is being activated, and then you will sweat it out once you go do something that raises your heart rate. So in a perfect world, you'll eat these foods, maybe you'll do some crunches, and then you'll do something that makes you sweat. Or you can do the pumping action, the core stimulation, and the sweating in one activity. So you could jump on a trampoline, which is my absolute favorite cardio because it forces every muscle in the body to flex. You can run up and down stairs, or jog up and down stairs, or walk up and down stairs. I love stairs. You can go for a jog, you can go for a hike, you can go for a walk, but you want to feel your muscles pumping as you're doing your sweating activity so that you're getting a pull. What I mean by a pull is your body is pumping fat into the lymphatic vessels, which are your waste removal vessels, and it is pulling fat into those vessels and they are coming out in your sweat. So we need circulation, we need movement, we need fiber intake, we need foods that remove toxins from the system, we need water within 30 minutes of your meals. But most of all, guys, you just need to try. You just need to take the initiative, make a grocery list, put these ingredients on the list, go get them, keep them in your fridge, stay consistent, try to eat some smaller meals, but believe in yourself. Just know it's never too late to get healthy, no matter how old you are, no matter how many mistakes you've made, it's never too late. So thank you guys so much for watching, and be your best. Do everything you can to be your healthiest self. I'm looking forward to hearing feedback from everyone. Please comment, subscribe, give me your comments, let me know how you feel, let me know if these things work for you. Give me your success stories. I can't wait to hear from everyone. That's all, folks.